Crystal and I are from the same part of the globe, from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. We actually grew up together competing in the provincial dance festivals, and then we went on to dance with William Forsythe at Ballet Frankfurt. Our families actually married into each other as well, so we have a joke between us that we're cousins. Crystal is one of the most acclaimed choreographers of our generation. She's won 5 Olivier Awards, and actually this is the first time the English National Ballet will present a work from Crystal Pite, so it's a huge moment in our history. The work she's doing with mainstream companies a lot of times involves huge groups, so it's kind of about lines and precisions and moving that mass of people around. I think Crystal is particularly talented at moving these huge groups of people in such powerful ways. Body and Soul was created as a trilogy in 2019 for the Paris Opera, and I was lucky enough to see that, and I was very impacted by the piece. So Body and Soul Part 1 really speaks to the human desire for connection and the kind of tension that lies within that. Our dancers are hugely enjoying this experience. When I announced we were going to do a work of Crystal's, everyone was so excited. The dancers are committed and open and just soaking up every bit of information that they can get. Obviously, it's interesting to dance the solo bits in Body and Soul Part 1, but equally interesting is it's all about the collective, the work of a group, and working together day in and day out with your colleagues. You start to get to know them in a more intimate way. I actually came across Kameron's work at the International Association of Blacks in Dance conference in Memphis, Tennessee some years ago. And I saw a performance of his work, and the piece was called Black in Time, and I was just immediately taken by the piece. Kameron's language is quite unique. His vocabulary is very genre crossing. It's very expansive. So if you think you've seen him in one part of the ballet, get ready, because it's completely different in Part 2 and completely different in Part 3. I was very much looking forward to giving a platform to new, diverse choreographic voices to shine. And I actually just called Kameron. I told him a little bit about the idea of the program to pair him up with Crystal Pite, who he hugely admires, and he was very enthusiastic. And while I was researching him a bit more, I had people saying to me, "Do you know who Cam is?" And I said, "No, I've just met him here." Then I realized that he is a very famous commercial dancer. How I discovered him was really from his authentic choreographic voice for dance. And I think he's hugely talented in that aspect, and that's something I want people now to see. Also, it was very important to me to give him artistic freedom to create something that was authentic to him. I basically said to Kameron, present yourself in London for the first time in whatever way you feel you want to. And I'm really excited to see what evolves from that. So for our dancers, they don't know him, they haven't had an experience with him. It's like when you learn something new for the first time, a language, you're speaking words, and then you're speaking sentences, and then you're speaking phrases. So I think they're in that part of discovery. It is a creation, which is wonderful, and how important it is for ENB to have works that are created on our dancers for our company in order to continue our legacy of forging innovation. This program, Body and Soul, is a very bold double bill that pairs up the experience of an acknowledged world-renowned choreographer like Crystal Pite with a bold, new, unique voice in dance, Kameron Saunders. And it's about bridging genres and generations and really giving a platform to diverse choreographers of today to shine. The program is very much a journey in innovation and exploring the human experience. And it brings together the body and soul theme in distinctive complementary ways. So with Body and Soul Part 1, we look inward. So it's about the emotional connection of human beings wanting to belong to a collective, but also wanting to keep their identity and their self. Proper conduct is a comment on outwardly how the individual is seen within society. So how voices and ideas kind of project onto a person to allow them to maneuver in this world. I would like our audiences to experience something deeply human, emotional, thought-provoking, and unforgettable. Innovation is equally as important as tradition, right? In order to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been. One huge aspect of carving our identity and evolving the company is creating new works for the company, pushing our art form farther. As much as we have a commitment to classical full lengths, ENB's always been boundary pushing. It's always been looking for the next experience. And I think that's something I'd like to continue to build upon.